can I ask you, first of all, about this new review on university tuition fees? Is everything on the table?
Well, we've got a very strong higher education sector in this country, and the system that's in place, been in place since 2012, has been very effective in making sure that our universities are properly funded, world-class, and can compete. But also it's been fair in terms of the split in cost between taxpayer and student, and there's also more disadvantaged students going to university than ever before.
So it's working, it's effective, it's fair, but we're going to look at it again.
To address your question of why a review, when this system was brought in, it wasn't anticipated that so many universities, so many courses would all have the same fee for their course. There hasn't been as much variety that has come into the system as we would have expected and wanted. So I think it's right to ask questions about that and see what can be done to stimulate that diversity and variety.
So is it true that as a result of this, some courses, for instance in the humanities, in English and history and other things, could become cheaper?
Well, I don't think politicians are going to be setting the costs and the prices for different courses, and all forms of education, all courses, all subjects have great value and have great worth. What we need to look at is the different aspects of pricing, so the cost that it is to put on the course, the value that it is to the student, and also the value to our society as a whole, and to our economy for the future. And there are some subjects, some areas, both in higher education and in technical education, where we're going to need more of those coming forward in the future because of the changes, because of the new challenges in the world economy.
If you're a student or a prospective student watching this, or a parent of a student, you'll be very, very interested in the cost of these courses, the tuition fees. Is it possible, as a result of this, that you're going to look again at the very, very high interest rates, at the maximum cost of tuition fees, the maximum price tag, and how long students get to pay them back? Are those things on the table? Well,
I mean, you talk about the maximum price tag. I mean, of course, there are some courses where £9,250 a year in fees is a very, very good deal indeed. Yeah. And what the interest rate does is it makes the system more progressive. It means that people who earn a lot of money in their 20s and 30s will contribute more than others.
Okay, are these things being reviewed or not?
Well, the independent panel that will look at this, and then government will respond. But the panel, of course, can look at these different aspects. I mean, the Treasury Select Committee report, which has also just come out, makes the point that, you know, you shouldn't think about student debt in quite the same way as another debt. And we need to think also about the way that these things come across to students when they're making decisions.
Things like the interest rate might change as a result of this review.
Well, we can't preempt that.
No, I'm just asking you. I said might.
And you absolutely can't look at one aspect of the system in isolation from the others. They all play.
I'm just trying to discover whether this is a real review, which is actually going to change things or not.
It is a real review,
and things will change.
And what we are looking to do is to make sure that there's the variety and there's the choice in higher education, that would-be students have full visibility of what those options are, and also that they know about the progressive elements that are there. And
so for instance, does the review cover alternatives to the current system of paying for students at university? Would it cover, for instance, a different kind of graduate tax? Would that be up for grabs? Would it be possibly a tax, people suggested, on all graduates, a modest tax to pay for universities? Is that on the table?
Well, right now we have a hybrid scheme, actually. It's got elements of a loan system and elements of a graduate contribution scheme, and things like the interest rate, the earnings threshold. So already you don't pay anything if you're not earning over £21,000. That's soon going to go up to £25,000. So it is a hybrid system. But will the review look at alternatives?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, because this is a review not only about higher education and universities, it's about tertiary education as a whole, and that includes non-university routes, and we're already making big reforms with T levels and so on, and we also need to think about how that works post-18.
It is possible that the current system of tuition fees could end as a result of this review.
Well, we think it's right that if you benefit from a university degree, you should make a contribution, and that is what this current system does. What we're doing in the review is looking at how that system works, making sure that there are alternatives, making sure there's more variety, and that could include lower cost ways of delivering education, which might be shorter courses, which also means less time out of the labour market, more opportunities to work, to study while you work, and so on.